If it's been sitting for 6 years, who knows what the injectors, fuel pump, fuel filter, all that stuff's gonna look like. So let's get to it. First off, we wanna check this fuel situation out. Ooh. All right, in order to get the tank off, we're gonna start by taking these two Allens out here and here. But before we do that, we're gonna cover our tank. So this bike was bought from an auction. They paid $400 for this bike, and apparently it has 8,000-ish miles. Pretty durable from what I know. We're gonna definitely take these off. Put that over there. And do the same to this side. There's our pivot bolt, or our bolt for the gas tank. We're gonna get that out. Located right behind those two plastic covers we took out. We'll try to go, oh, there we go. I'll pull right through. Voila. Actually a really good angle right there. Almost see the, there. We're just gonna grab a special tool. That's gonna just go right in. Not in, around the two white tabs above the black plastic piece. Be gentle. See that little tab right there? And off it comes. And vent hose on the other side. Disconnect the 3-wire for the sending unit. Hang in there, the value's coming. Things are gonna get better. Now the tank can come off. Bring you over here and check it out. Honestly, I have no idea why I did this. The airbox and spark plugs can be accessed without removing the tank. However, I wanted to get a better look. Regardless, it's a $400 bike, and just evacuating the old fuel would have been sufficient. It worked out, and if you need to replace a sending unit, here's how. Well, we'll put fuel to it and see what happens, right? Let's see what the tank looks like. We'll get it cleaned out good and see. Let me know in the comments how you clean out fuel tanks. All right, let's put some power to this and see if it does stuff. And I'm gonna hold it that way in case it goes yellow with red, which is this bottom one right there. Oh. Okay, that's good. Okay, all right, so that's a good sign. It makes noise. Now that we got the sending unit out, let's tip this upside down. Usually these fall right out, so let's just take it out before it does that. It's not too bad. We've seen a lot worse, that's for sure. We'll give her a good old cleansing and I think it'll be just good. It is gonna storm. I'm not gonna have as much detail on this as I would like. Now that we got the tank cleaned up, I shook it out really good, got all the water driplets out, fashioned this little computer fan to blow in. I've done that in the past when I reline tanks and stuff. So we would never start this bike without checking the air filter first. So let's get this lid off and see what it looks like. That's faster than I've seen some pretty crazy things in airboxes. A lot of critter homes, especially if you park them in the shed or in the back 40, in the barn, in the garage. It doesn't matter, they'll find their way in. We'll just set this down. Oh, those butterflies. Let's take a look at those butterflies. Those are injector, pretty good down to the valves. The other side, a wee bit more corrosion. This little guy right there, all blue and colorful. We'll see what kind of F numbers it starts flashing and stuff when we go to start it. So I guess that's not as bad as I thought it was. The little brass probe. So let's take a look at the air filter and see what that looks like. Oh, gosh darn it. Why does it always happen to me? Every single bike. I should have known better. I don't know if you saw it because I freaked out. I wasn't scared, but I'm just so sick of it. Every single thing. Imagine if we would have went to start that. Good God, is someone gonna come out and get me? Just kidding. So it needs an air filter. We've got a brand new one here ready to go. And we are going to go take this, clean it out, blow it out. While this final dries, we got it all cleaned up. We're gonna let the little driplets dry, but I went to pull this out. This disintegrates. All right, we'll quit playing with that and figure out how we're gonna get that out of there. Let's shove this here, and we'll put this one here. And we're gonna grab a needle nose and hopefully it'll pull all this out at once if we can just, oh, wow, that's really, we're just gonna get a vacuum and start sucking. All right, we're gonna try to get down in there and get that sucked out since it doesn't wanna pull out, it's just disintegrating and falling. And we'll put our new filter on like so. Our airbox is all clean, so we'll put that on and dry. Well, dry on the inside. It might be a little damp on the outside here, but we'll go ahead and put those in. Screw our screws down. I sure love these bikes. The SV650 and the SV1000. What a great bike, really. So much value in these V-twins. I actually raced an SV650 for a while, so I do have some experience with these bikes, especially when it comes to the chassis, suspension, setup for race applications. Not too many SV1000s. I had a TL1000 back in the day. The last year they made one, I bought one, and I should have kept it. Should have kept it, but we all have that one bike we regret. What's the one bike that you regret selling? I know mine is my 1981 CR250. First year liquid cooled, first year monoshock. Still had drum brakes front and rear, but oh, that was a cool bike. The other ones would have been all of my dad's triples. He had a bunch of 750s, 500s, and then I had a 400 triple. Oh, what I'd give to get those things back. Maybe someday, but at the end of the day, we can only ride one bike at a time, but still it'd be nice to have a fleet, wouldn't it? Now that the air filter's all in and everything's set that way, let's get the sending unit back in the tank so we can put the tank on and put gas in it and see if this thing fires up. Let's take a look and see what it looks like. This is some good old surface rust. I think it'll live to see another day. Again, it is a $400 auction bike. We're not sending it on the track, or we're looking to get it running and see what happens, you know? That's why we're gonna put the sending unit in. Looking the way it does. It does have some corrosion around the fuel pressure regulator. Oh, good leak. Leaked on me. It doesn't smell that bad, really. If it doesn't run right, or there's low pressure or not right pressure or no pressure, we know this runs, we tested it. So let's get it back in and get this bike running. Make sure our O-ring is nice and cleaned off. That in there, fits really nice. Let's put our screws in, get it started. We're just gonna leave that till we get a few more started. Let's pick the hardest one to get to. And our last screw there. I won't go tight, we'll go in like a star pattern. Make sure that we don't put too much pressure on one side and pop that O-ring out. We'll hold this there. We'll go through and final tighten these quick. Click. Click. Oh, that was my arm, actually, bones. Awesome. Now we'll put our little heat protector barrier on. All right, our little tab dealio goes right here. I don't know why I thought it went there. Why didn't I just go reference the video right from the start? That is one of the really nice things about videoing these, if you can do it in a halfway decent style to where you can see what you're actually recording, but we'll get there. Practice and you watching really helps, and hopefully this brings value to you in some form. If you have a SV1000, before we put the tank on, it's a good idea. We're going to top off the coolant overflow jug here. It is bone empty, so we're just going to top it off to the line and then put the tank on. Put it just in between the low and the high, or the F, right in between. And this too, we're gonna watch to see if it has any leaks once it's started. I thought about cleaning it up right now while everything's off, but everything really isn't off. We just had the airbox lid off in the gas tank. So again, this is a budget bike revival, $400 motorcycle. Now that we've got coolant in the reservoir, we will get the gas tank back on. Before we put the tank on, I just wanted to talk about these for a minute. I know earlier in the video, I'm like, oh, they'll have to be replaced, but they're pretty pliable and not restricted. Even though they may look like they're smashed, they're both gonna work just fine. I air checked them. They were pushed right up against this cam position sensor connector. So when we put the tank back down, we'll just make sure that it's not pressed against there. Putting the tank on, we want to make sure we get our 2 vent tubes, our fuel line, and our 3-prong triangular connector. We're just going to set it on here like so. We're going to put our pivot bolt in first. That way the tank stays centered while we're hooking everything up. Right there. Okay. Oh, it's right there. Perfect. Wow, that lined up really good. I don't think we'll need our wobble, but let's see what happens. No, we shouldn't. Why did I use a 3/8 wobble to get it out? Now we'll tip it up and get everything connected. All right, let's hook up our 3-wire. Nice. And then we will hook up our fuel line. We're just gonna kind of move that so that we know it'll line right up when we push it on, and hear that snap, and we're going to pull and tug on it a little bit back and forth just to make sure it's seated good. And wow, we can get to our vent lines really easy from here too. And when we lower this tank, we'll just make sure that they don't get pinched. And I can't really get a camera in there, but I can feel it, and I know they're not getting pinched on that cam sensor, so we're good to go. Now we will put our 2 bolts in. And if you're wondering about the foam piece inside the airbox, I am too. Well, it got sucked out of there and we never put one back in, and everything is gonna be just fine. So that's how that's gonna work out. And we've got these tight. Now we'll put some gas in it. We'll put a little bit of this on here. We're not gonna fill it up. We're gonna just put a little bit in it, check for leaks. Probably should have left these loose just in case there is a leak. We're putting premium with no ethanol. There's 2 gallons in this. Oops, and a little bit on the side now. So we'll just stop there for a minute and see how things settle. Go like that, our terminal negative, positive, that lines up, that's good. And here like so, line up for the most part. All right, we'll hook up the positive terminal. Good. Sure we cover that up good. We've got 11,000 miles on the odometer, but either way, that's not anything for... So let's get things set up. We're gonna double check the coolant level. To check the coolant, we removed the Allen from the right side. That gave me a little room to get my hand up in there because I went directly up and then kind of just pushed down on the coolant cap, twisting it to get it off. Now to show the level, and there's this little bleed tube here we should take the rubber off of before we fill it. And then we're gonna fill it until coolant comes out of there. sort of see it. So we're gonna get a funnel to there and see how much coolant it's gonna take. The customer did want a coolant flush. However, I noticed this morning when I came out, our Suzuki wept a tear of green, and this little green dot was there on the paper, and I looked up, and that little hose goes right into there, and that would be your weep hole for the water pump. I'm just gonna do that first before I take any caps off. It might be just below that and we can't see it, so let's do that first. And the 2 drips have been very minimal. Oh, there, she's full now. All right, we'll just leave her like that and see how it runs. Next, we're gonna put air in the tires. Ooh, we got 5.9. 20, 31, 39, and we'll check it in the morning and see what it's at. 0.0. Oh, we got 11 now. Nothing. We had nothing in the front. 30, 36. We'll just leave it there and check that in the morning. So 0 in the front, 5.9 in the back. These are tubeless and aluminum and could have some potential corrosion, or use our BFCLs. Someone had to put it on here with an impact driver, because you know you gotta put on an oil filter so tight, and then it looks like it was probably painted over at some point. Oh my gosh. At least it's a Suzuki filter. Eesh. Black Earl there. We've got our new pre-filled filter there. Not my ideal choice of brand, but a lot of this is using customer supplied parts, which a lot of guys in the industry won't do, but I will under certain circumstances. And in a situation like this, providing this bike runs good, the warranty will end right there. Once it leaves, that's its warranty. No guarantees, because this is quite the mystery bike as it is. And the customer's totally understanding in that. Now that our oil filter is ready to go back on, we'll give its surface here a nice little wipe. And our oil filter is semi pre-filled, so it's gonna leak out a little bit there, but not too much. And we'll spin it down. Feels right about click there. Good. Oil filter's on. Let's check the drain plug, because I never took the oil out of this. Customer said that he did drain it, but let's see if any more has residually. Oh my gosh. Use a half inch wrench. Jeepers. That sucker was tight. And the oil drain plug on the SV1000. Be located right here, 17 millimeter. All right, now there's got to be a little bit that's pulled up. I'm glad we didn't add to that. Jeepers, that's horrible. That looks awful. It gives us access to this little magnet that Suzuki embedded into their drain plug. Nothing too crazy, no metal chunks, no big flakes. Nothing abnormal for a bike with 8,000 miles on it, supposedly. Jeepers, that's like 2 quarts we're draining out now. I guess it's not that dark, but it's not that great either. So we'll just let that drain overnight too. No sense in plugging it back up. Let every little drip out. After 24 hours, we're gonna put the drain plug back in. It's not dripping anything anymore. We've got our drain plug ready to go, cleaned up. Wipe it off one more time. Good here. The crush washer, gasket, washer looks good. We're gonna clean the head of the bolt off really good. Wipe off the surface where the drain plug meets the engine case to ensure that there's no grit. I'll take that out. We're just gonna snug it up here, and that's about click. All right, good to go there. Now we'll put oil in it. The oil will be 1040 weight. It's been sitting outside in the sun, so hopefully it pours in a little faster. Well, that's about perfect. So once we run it, we'll double check it. It will probably drop a bit as the filter will take some, and if it's been sitting for a long time, there's a lot of nooks and crannies that oil can sit in. We did blow this area off first and then wipe it before taking the oil fill plug off. That's always something you want to do. Make sure no little grit or debris falls in when you take that off. Same with the oil filter. I didn't show it in the video. Always a good idea to blow that area off prior to taking the filter off. We'll just give it another double check since we're right here. Oh yeah, feels good. The customer mentioned that the exhaust was loose or that it had a leak. So let's take a look at the exhaust and see what we got. I don't want to try to adjust the pipe with all this weight hanging off of here. So we'll just go ahead and crack these guys loose. And then we can start it without the mufflers and it'll sound amazing. We'll crack the other side loose. So we're gonna get a 14 wobble. We take these off. I'm gonna put this paper on here just to kind of protect the pipe so it doesn't get scratched if my wobble touches it. There, good. Ooh. This side's already loose, so let's protect the pipe and zip them off. And then we can also take a look inside to make sure no little critters decided to add a new house to their, I mean, that's a big tornado can. There's a little MotoGP look to it, eh? All right, now with those off, let's take a look at all our little clamps and Allens and see what's tight and not tight and go from there. We'll start right up front here at the easiest spot. 6 millimeters? Yep, metric 6. Oh, that's tight. That one's not loose. We'll bop over here and see if this one's, that's tight. Let's loosen up the bracket where the pipe meets the frame on both sides and get this assembly kind of loose. Then we'll loosen up the clamps and get it seated up where it needs to be. We'll loosen this nut up here on the clamp so that way we can try to tuck the exhaust up tighter up against this header. I'm sure that would be a perfect leak. And we know that this is loose, so we'll just make that looser. Oh, there it loosened up quite a bit. I saw it all move. That's the biggest pain in the butt, is why messing around with the exhaust with the cans on. All that extra weight there, especially on a bike so easy to take them off. It should make it easier to fit that in there. All right, we'll see how much it wiggles up into where it might need to be. Oh, that's good. We'll put these guys back in. These line up good, so it kind of makes me think, the exhaust wasn't hit super hard. We'll put this one back in. Oh, and this clamp over here on the other side too, we can do that. This clamp, a Rooney, right? When I had this mounting bolt out on both sides and this clamp loosened, we pushed it up tight up against the flange, and then we got this flange up to here. And don't worry, there's plenty of room between the swing arm and the shock. I don't like how long that is, so I'll suggest to the customer that we trim that. But that was loose and it wasn't snug up against there. And then on this side, we made sure this was all where it should be and snug this bolt up good as well. It's 12:30 in the morning. Coolant's good. We got gas, oil, good battery. I say we try to start it. The neutral. I did notice this here, this clutch safety switch. We'll just touch the two together here and see if that, there, that was it. Nice. All right, here we go. Before we can put our exhaust canisters on, we need to hang our exhaust canister hangers. And in doing so, I noticed that these threads are very, I wouldn't say stripped, but rusted and pretty crunchy. So we've got an 8x125 cap, and we're just gonna go ahead and clean them up. We'll clean up all 4 and get it so our threads are nice and clean, and we'll put our hangers on. They're pretty shallow threads. I mean, shallow, the depth is shallow. The thread is still decent. All right, now we'll step over to the other side and do those 2. Try to keep it nice and centered when you come out of there. Don't want to narf any of those nice new cleaned up threads. Yeah, that's way better. Now that we have our threads cleaned out, we'll go ahead and put our exhaust canister hanger on. We'll be using a 6mm Allen with some these guys I found in my SV container. And we're gonna leave them semi-loose until we get the canisters up and mounted for testing purposes. Nice. There they go. Now they're snapping like they ought to. Perfect. Now with the brackets on, these don't line up. I've already put the nuts back on, but I've tried them both ways, upside down, inside out, and they're off like an inch or so. And I think the customer said that he got them for R or and this is an S, and there's a little difference, so that would explain that. So we just took it for a test drive with no pipes on it. The customer asked to look at the spark plugs and replace them, so we're going to go ahead and loosen this clamp and remove the radiator hose. He did want the coolant exchanged. However, with the drip coming from the water pump, we're just gonna do this. They already had this bolt out here at the bottom, so that's loose. We just need to loosen up that clamp and drain the coolant. This is a 6mm headed hose clamp. You can also get in there with a Phillips. That'll allow that to swing a little bit more out of the way so we can gain access to our spark plug on the other side. It's got this little inner fender thing here. You can see that it's been discombobulated. Right here, it's pushing up against the radiator. One clip is out, the other one is in. I'm gonna go ahead and take that out. That'll allow us to swing that all the way forward and put the clip in the way it's supposed to be. So it has a little dimple there, and then your 10mm goes in there. That'll give us some more swing room, and we'll come around to the other side and get that spark plug out. Now that we can move our radiator out of the way, you don't want to pull on the spark plug wire at all. You're gripping all on this right here, and that doesn't seem to go good. So I'm going to grab a needle nose and just help it. I'm kind of tucking that right under there, and I'm just going to squeeze it ever so slightly. Pry up gently. I'm going to grab an air hose and blow anything that may have fallen down in there. Always a good idea to blow it out prior, but I got excited to show you all this, so cool. Now that's cleaned out, we'll get our spark plug socket, snap-on magnetic type spark plug socket. We're gonna just slide down in there, and then we're gonna take a 3/8 extension. I just grabbed your standard, 2.5, 3 incher. I don't know what that is. I've got some shorter ones if we need. We'll just put that in there. Usually everybody's standard tool kit comes with both of these items, and if you need to retrieve any of them, you can certainly just get a little magnet and go down in there. And I remember the customer saying they weren't sure if they did the plugs or not, and since we already put the seat back on, or the gas tank back on, now here I'll grab this Gently pull the extension because you don't want to hit the radiator. We're going to just grip that, hold it, pull it out. Ooh. U24ETR. Probably original. And we'll be putting in a NGK CR8EK. No gap to check. You want to just kind of look at the electrodes and make sure nothing's smashed, broken. Looks good. So we're just going to gently set that in there. Gently let it ride down. Right. Oh, it's right there. So doesn't even fall at all. If it was gonna fall, then you would maybe want to use like a little magnet to let it down gently, but we're just gonna get it started before we push our extension into. Anything we can do to keep stress and shock off the spark plug is what we want to do. Keeping this nice and centered, and there we're feeling it snug up. Put our ratchet back on there, make it go righty-tighty. Pull it back just a little, make sure everything's right about there. That feels good. And then we'll just hold the socket, pull that off. I dropped it. We'll grab our magnet. A boot. Here's our boot. Look at the end, everything looks really good in there. Make sure you hear all those little crunchies grip it. Make sure our rubber boot is seated down into the hole like it should be so no moisture gets in there. Then we'll go to the other side and put our bolt in. Okay, and then we'll put our lower bolt in down here. It doesn't want to, it's too bent. So we're gonna just put a zip tie in there.
And now for the rear spark plug. Let's blow this area off and get to it. Why didn't I do it when the tank was off, you may ask? Well, I wanted to show how to do it with the tank on, just as you may in your setting. It's not necessary to take the tank off. Just loosen the two 4mm Allens, raise the tank gently, find something safely to support the tank with. An air filter box worked in this case.
All right, we're gonna take off this cam position sensor connector.
We're gonna go ahead and take off the breather hose. It prevents the black rubber flap from getting taken out of the way so we can get our spark plug boot out and continue with the process.
Oh, there it goes. Holy cow.
Now with the boot off, we can wiggle a little and get our plug boot and wire out of the spark plug hole. Set our socket in gently and remove the old plug.
Grab our ratchet.
Now we will reinstall the new plug and tighten while keeping everything centered, just like the front plug. Click. And now with our spark plug all tight, we will put our boot back on, make sure we put our black rubber protector on, our breather tube, and reconnect our cam position sensor. And when we lower the tank, we'll ensure that the two breather tubes for the fuel tank do not get pinched against the cam position sensor. Reinstall your two 4mm Allens and away you go.
First, we're gonna loosen up our adjuster bolts. We're gonna take these and run them all the way in. In order to do that, you'll take a 12mm, and if they haven't been all rounded, I pre-soaked them with some WD, and I like to put a 10 on here and kind of hold it and just gently go, oh, nice. So we'll go ahead and run that nut all the way up against that 10. And then we'll take that 10, spin it all the way in. I'm just gonna gently, just not even snug it, just say stay there. Then we'll do the same to the other side. This one's a little tighter. Creepers. Little grippers. This way, when we put our chain on, we've got all this room to adjust it, as this V-twin, monstrous torque, fun V-twin, just eats up that chain life. I don't know why it doesn't have one, and both sprockets are steel, 530. Both sprockets look really good as far as teeth condition. The rear one has a little bit of corrosion on it, but it'll be just fine. Make double sure we got it all okay. Good, and then we're just gonna say stay. Now we'll go over, loosen our axle nut, and push all of this forward. And for our axle nut, we'll be using a 36 millimeter. And before we take that loose, we'll take out our cotter pin. There. Jeepers. That's TIT tight. Okay. Sure, this side's all the way up against there. Good. This side is as well. We'll just go ahead and snug this back down. Now we've got everything pushed all the way forward. We've got our axle nut re-snugged. We'll go get the new chain and loop it in. Isn't a chain an amazing thing? Think about all the work a chain does. Okay, I want it to go over the pipe, not under it. Geez, it looks like it could have a link out. This link right here can come out. All right, with one of the links removed, we're gonna go ahead and put our master link in. This is an O-ring chain, so we do have an O-ring master link. Make sure we get both our O-rings on both sides. I'm just gonna put one on here, one on here. We've already got quite a bit of grease there in the chain. There's already an O-ring in there. Another one here. Okay, our master link. Oh, that feels good. Oh, they gave us two. Awesome sauce. We're gonna just do that. Usually I'll show you the trick. My trick to the master link. Always put it with the closed end facing forward. You wouldn't believe how many master links I come in and see this open end facing forward. That way, as the chain goes around and it's in motion, if there were to ever be a piece of debris or something, it would be much harder to dislodge this clip. Just squeeze it back together, make sure our O-ring, there it goes, up on there nice. Oh, so close. There it goes. Be careful not to get your thumb. Takes many, many victims of thumbings. All right, now we'll adjust it because we're obviously a little on the loose. We may even take out another link yet before. Better to take out not enough than take out too many. Never double up on master links on a sport bike or something with, I wouldn't recommend it in any application, but you gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. We'll go ahead and loosen up our axle nut first and proceed to adjust our chain. Just a little bit of movement moves that chain quite a bit. We'll go over to the other, let's do a little more yet. So we're got our adjusters here. We'll go over to the other side and put it about the same. This can be a little bit of a, not time consuming, but one could say tedious process. And we got to remember too, it's going to tighten up some when we tighten the axle. Right there's good. We're going to go ahead and tighten our axle nut. Right about there. Put a bunch of bones crack. Close as this is going to get. Now we'll tighten up our 12. Hold our 10, tighten up our 12. I'm going to hold that up against the block. Make sure that you have that turned right up against that block because that's what it's supposed to do. Now we're going to just go ahead and tighten that 12 down to right about there. And not over tightening it because people don't adjust their chains and then they corrode and then they don't come out, or they strip or cross thread because you don't understand which way you need to turn it. So we don't want to tighten those down crazy tight. We'll hold our 10 there. Click. That's that. Brake pads look like they're there. Give it a little master test quick.
And once the chain is finally adjusted, make sure and install a new cotter pin.
I really wanted to do a moto vlog ride along video on this. I don't think I'll be able to given the weather and the fact that when I did drive it yesterday, the shifter is so sticky. It just stays no matter what. If you go into first, to get into second, you gotta go up, but now to go to third, you gotta come halfway down and then go back up, and then go halfway down and go back up to ratchet it because there's something inside of here that's binding. This linkage, all super free, moves totally fine with no resistance in any way, shape, or form on any of the linkage. So it is totally internal to this shifter box deal. And it looks like it comes off with a few bolts. It's like a separate shifter assembly deal. I don't know. I've never had one apart, but I know that the problem lies beneath that shaft. So I'm gonna put a little rough estimate together on what it would take to get that apart so we can see what's going on in there, and as well as the water pump because it's still dripping. And then maybe we can take this baby for a moto vlog video style ride. And don't forget to put your cotter pin in, okay? Oh, and the seat isn't right either. The bolt holes don't line up. And the pegs, or the rear canister brackets aren't right either. So we get those correct. We can put cans on it. It is fun to ride it like this. Probably a little louder than your typical Harley, but sounds really good at 6K or 8 or 10. But with the shifter not shifting, I didn't ride it like that. I just rode it to make sure that it rode, and we'll get this figured out. So the customer said, go ahead, pull this off and see what it might look like in there. It doesn't look like it's gonna be too crazy to get off. We'll start with this cover here. He did convert it from a hydraulic to, I guess I would call it a conventional. These had hydraulic clutches, and it's not anymore. I don't know why, if they had issues, if this one was leaking, what was going on there. This will give us the opportunity to reroute this thing the way it should be routed. Yeah, this is, I thought that was JB Weld. It's just the chain goo. Ha! That's kind of funny. We'll take the chain off again. That'll give us a little more room. We'll take this off here. So just, this moves so freely. So freely. No binding in any of the time joints. All good. This wire, I swear I'm just gonna cut it and jumper it. What a joke. Out of here. Little O-rings. All right, we are after this case. Those 1, 2, 3, 4. That bolt was missing. 5, 6 bolts. We're gonna take those out. And then there's one more right there. See it? Right there. We'll get that out. That's long. Oh, jeepers. Oh. I hope this isn't a long bolt. Otherwise, we'll have to drill a hole through the frame. Just kidding. We'd never do that. Maybe to lighten it up we would, but not to... I'm just kidding, we wouldn't do that either. We don't want to compromise strength. Okay, now that we got all our bolts out of that covered dealio, let's see what happens. Jesus. That worked. All right, well that came off. Let's see. Why are you so hard to shift?
I had to leave this in here editing it. Let's see if you catch it.
Oh, duh, I'm moving the back tire. Hey, so it shifts fine. So it seems to shift just fine now with that cover off, which leads me to believe that, judging by, I don't know, the outskirts of this, and this looks like it's been, I'm gonna clean this shaft up really good. The shaft could also be bent, but it could just be binding in that casing too. So we're gonna clean up. So we've got that shaft polished up like brand new. We're gonna go ahead and put the cover back on, put a few bolts in there, snug it up, and see how it feels. After quite a few attempts of trying to polish that shaft, and I think it's the casing. I think it's the aluminum. I also think it could be the shaft. So just replace them both. The customer said that they're gonna do it themselves. So great. While it's in here, the oil's empty, it's drained. We've got a professional with all the tools. But I don't understand why people want to pay me sometimes to do all the stupid little things that take all the time. And then when something comes along that's fairly simple and easy and fun, they're just going to go ahead and do it themselves. But that's fine. Go ahead. You're the professional. You just brought it to me to wrap up a bunch of stupid stuff that you could do, but you don't have the time. So I'll make sure and charge them accordingly.
This isn't how I wanted the video to end. I wanted to do a fun motovlog style ending, talking about what we accomplished. Like many things in life, it's not what happens to us, but how we react to the situation. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to offer my 25 years of professional motorcycle experience to anyone who would like to see the job through. To me, time is the most valuable thing in life. I appreciate you and your time spent here. Until next time, keep the blue side up and the rubber side down.